say I got influenced and I decided to buy the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 4 that launched yesterday. Yes, I paid for next day delivery because I really wanted to have them this weekend for my session. The reason is, if I like them, and I mean I really hope I like them, because these cost £220 and I paid £225 including the delivery fee, so they better be good and they better suit me. Well, they could be my race shoes for the Valencia 10K, which is next weekend, so I really want to do a session or two in those before so I can decide and be sure. But I don't really know myself why I was so keen on trying those, because up until right now I had never owned a pair of Adidas race shoes. I wasn't even really interested in trying the previous versions of these shoes, so I don't know what to say. I think it's all this social media hype that has built up around these shoes. I was really keen to test them out, so I'm gonna give these shoes a bit of a spin today. So my session today is not exactly a monster session. It's going to be only 17 to 17 and a half minutes of actual speed work, because as the race is getting closer, I'm not in peak volume training right now, but the way Ben structured the workouts, I'll be able to test out these shoes at different paces. I'll put the exact session on the screen, but basically I'm going to do some strides on the warm-up, and then I'll have half marathon, 10K and 5K effort. So it's going to be a short session, but I should be able to get a good feel for these shoes at different paces and intensities. And once I have tested them out, then I will give you my honest, unsponsored first impressions. Some sections of the road are still icy and a bit slippery, so hopefully it won't impact the session too much, but Ben told me not to worry about the pace today. Like, let's not do anything silly. Right, let's start the session. First rep, 1K at half marathon effort is done, and so far they feel quite springy, so we'll see how they feel at faster pace. 6 by 1 minute, let's go. By 1 minute done. I am rather impressed with the shoes, and I'm going to do another 1 kilometer rep at half marathon effort. The best way I can describe it right now is that these shoes really like propel you forward. Now the only little thing, but that might be due to the cold, is that I'm feeling a little bit of discomfort on the big toe. Kind of the same feeling I get when my extremities, like the tip of my fingers, are cold. So it might really just be the weather. And now 6 by 30 seconds to finish off. I really hope this big toe discomfort is the cold and not the shoe, because whoa, they are great and I want to wear them for races. Right, so I'm gonna talk through the different elements of the shoes and incorporate my personal impressions and feedback based on my session this morning in these shoes. It's not going to be an overly technical review, especially as I don't really have a point of comparison. I never owned any previous versions of this shoe, and I can't compare it to the Adios Pro 3, for instance. From what I've read, there have been quite significant changes between the 3 and the 4. So let's get stuck in. The Adizero Adios Pro 4 is a road race shoe. According to Adidas, it is especially geared towards the longer distances, the half marathon and the marathon, because of the focus on energy return in the construction of this shoe. But it is so light and springy that I don't see why you wouldn't use it for shorter distances like a 10K. And personally, before racing a half marathon, in new race shoes, I would definitely test them out on a shorter distance, like a 10K, which is why I'm considering wearing them next weekend. TBC. So here in the UK, this shoe costs £220. Personally, for me, it is true to my Adidas shoe size. I used to have a pair of Ultra Boost, and I also had a pair of gym shoes, forgot the name. I was a 4.5. That's the size I ordered, and it seems to be the right one. But compared to my usual shoe size in Nike and On, where I am a UK 4, it is half a size up. Got a 5mm heel to toe drop for women, 6mm for men, going from 39 to 33. It is a lightweight, woman 5.5, just shy of 175 grams. For men, 8.5 UK size, 200 grams. Right, let's look at the shoe in detail. So the upper is this stretchy, thin, light lock fabric. Inside the tongue, there is a fair bit of padding, and it's really soft fabric, so you don't feel the laces. Even if you tighten them up to the max, it is rather comfortable. If we look at the heel, actually, I noticed that this morning. Look, you flip this over and it says this too shall pass. It's quite cool. Anyway, apparently slippage was a feedback that they had on the previous versions. So the heel lockdown has been improved. There's a fair bit of padding that is designed in the way you've got these two bits of padding here, kind of like keeps your heel locked in place. When I tried them on, I was a bit concerned because I felt like I had quite a bit of room around the heel, but at the same time I couldn't have gone a size smaller because then it would have been a bit too snug on my toe box. But then when I run in them this morning, I didn't feel at any point that my heel was coming off. I felt locked in, secure, so on that front, no issues for me whatsoever. Moving on to the midsole, which is kind of the most important. So this one features the new and improved Lightstrap Pro foam, which covers the full length and is even lighter than the previous version. Then with that, instead of having a traditional carbon plate, you have what Adidas calls carbon-infused energy rods 2.0. They are designed to mimic your metatarsal bones in your feet, and what it's aiming to do is basically provide more stiffness for a smoother heel-to-toe transition and also a more snappy, more responsive toe off. And this is what I felt this morning. I mentioned they felt really snappy, like I felt like I was being propelled forward. And also just looking at them like this, the rocker shape is quite pronounced, so that would, I imagine, contribute to that snappy toe off feeling. And finally, the outsole. So we've got this continental rubber piece under the big toe to enhance traction, and the rest of the outsole is what Adidas called the light traction material, which, as the name suggests, doesn't impact the overall weight of the shoe, but still aims to provide decent grip. This morning, I avoided the icy sections of the road as much as I could, and you know, even the grippiest road shoe wouldn't protect me from falling in those conditions. But on the sections where I could feel it was a bit slippery, not once did I feel like I was gonna fall over. I didn't feel like Bambi on ice. The only thing I didn't quite test out this morning is how these shoes feel when you're turning, like taking tight corners, because I decided to stick to a straight road that wasn't too icy. Originally, I wanted to do a road loop, which I attempted, and then I had to turn around because the road was just too slippery, it was too risky. So I have yet to test them out when taking corners at pace. Okay, so overall first impressions, really good. I am pleasantly surprised, rather impressed. The only little downside is that discomfort around the big toes that I felt on both feet. Not quite sure what it is. I hope it's just a case of breaking into the shoes, or maybe the cold weather. It's not that the shoe is too small, because I feel like I have a fair bit of room in the toe box, so that shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to wear them again next week on my mini taper session. Maybe I'll wear different socks, maybe I'll try to put a plaster on my toes to see if it makes a difference. It's not painful, and I think I can suck it up for a 10K race. At this very moment, these would not be my top choice for a half marathon race. I still think that the On Cloud Boom Echo 3 are the perfect race shoes for me for any distance. They're just reliable. I am dreading the day, if it ever comes, that On decides to discontinue this version of the shoes. This time last year, I had just got the Alphafly 3 that had launched in the prototype colorway. I was super excited about those, and I ended up not racing that much in these shoes because, again, the On Club Umico 3 were more comfortable for me, especially over the longer distances. And I really hope I'm going to end up racing more in these shoes than I did with the Alphafly 3 because, well, if I don't, one, that will be lesson learned. I will no longer buy race shoes that are not from On. And two, I really liked how they felt this morning, like so snappy. I would say that in terms of responsiveness, these ones are a step above. So will this be my new race shoes for the year? Will I race in them next weekend? I guess we'll find out in the next video, which should be the race vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got yourself a pair of Adios Pro 4, let me know what you think so far, especially if you can compare them to the Adios Pro 3. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!